Hi there, thanks for joining us on TCM. I'm Ben Mankiewicz. We are coming to the end of our trilogy of films featuring Clint Eastwood as the man with no name. Up next, the third and final installment in the Dollars trilogy, all three of them directed by Sergio Leone. This is also the picture widely considered the finest of the three. Released in Italy in 1966, here in the States in '67 when all three of the films were released. This is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It's the story of three men searching for gold during the U.S. Civil War. Even though the story is set in America, like the other films in the trilogy, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is a European import shot in Spain by an Italian director with a largely Italian crew. As a result, all three pictures in the trilogy came to be affectionately referred to as spaghetti westerns. Clint Eastwood heads the cast, playing essentially the same character he played in the previous two films, the squinting, poncho-wearing, thin cigar-smoking, sharp-shooting drifter who always seems to knock off the bad guys and ride away with the cash. Joining Eastwood are Lee Van Cleef, who also starred in For a Few Dollars More, and Eli Wallach. The three men in that order, Eastwood, Van Cleef, and Wallach, represent the good, the bad, and the ugly. And they're the only actors in the film to deliver their lines in English. The supporting players speak in their native languages, Italian or Spanish, with their dialogue later dubbed into English for this American release from United Artists. Eastwood, always a savvy businessman as well as an actor, suggested the studio also purchase the film rights to the first two movies and then release them in order, which UA did in January, May, and December of 1967. Those first two films were already huge hits around the world, which made the trilogy an easy sell in the States. From 1966, with one of the most memorable scores of any Western, composed by the incomparable Ennio Morricone, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. With each film he made, Sergio Leone grew as a director, and with each success, his vision for his films expanded in size and scope. After the success of the first two movies in the Dollars trilogy, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly had the biggest budget of the three films, a much longer script, and it required much more time to shoot. This grated Clint Eastwood, who didn't like to spend more time than necessary on a film set. He still doesn't. This was the last film Eastwood and Leone did together, although there were no hard feelings. Leone went on to make a couple of classic epics, Once Upon a Time in the West and Once Upon a Time in America, without Eastwood. And Eastwood, he did okay too, becoming one of the biggest stars and finest filmmakers of his generation, still working today, probably literally working today, though not shooting any more takes than he must. Up next, director Sergio Leone is back, this time calling the shots in a mythical Mediterranean adventure that stars Rory Calhoun and Leah Massari.